Okay, so here we go. We ready? We ready to go inside? Are we good? Christina Amelon, take us inside whenever you are ready. Yay. Yeah.
Looking around in this crazy world, I know it can be hard. Dealing with outrageous pain right there from the start. Living our lives as our separate selves, it never seems enough. Responding to outrageous pain with outrageous love. It's the call of the future that brings me all this way. It's the call of the future that makes me want to stay. It's the call of the future that brings me all this way. It's the call of the future that makes me want to stay. I was running around in this crazy world, doing my therapy every day. But digging in the past and being in the now never took me home all the way. Wondering why I couldn't fix myself, still wrestling with life. But now I know that there's a way to heal. It makes me want to thrive. It's the call of the future that brings me all this way. It's the call of the future that makes me want to stay. It's the call of the future that brings me all this way. It's the call of the future that makes me want to stay. It's the call of the future that brings me all this way. It's the call of the future that makes me want to stay. It's the call of the future that brings me all this way. It's the call of the future that makes me want to stay.
Yes. Yes, the call of the future that makes me want to stay, right? That's like utter joy, right? If you want to understand, right, why suicide is rampant, it's because we've lost first values and first principles. There's no sense that my future is intrinsically meaningful. I've already done it all, right? I just keep repeating the same pattern again and again and again of utter futility. And the ideology of depression is futility, and the ideology of suicide is depression. Right? It's the call of the future that makes me want to stay. Right? It's not enough to go into the fullness of the present, which is enlightenment science. It's not enough to be reworking the trauma of the past. We need to step into Homo, amor science, emergent science, evolutionary science. And it's the call of the future, right? Beautiful, right? Thank you, thank you, thank you for that gorgeous, right, this morning, right, spontaneously, right, that makes me want to stay. So let's do a practice, okay? Let's end with a practice. So let's do this together. We ready? It's the call of the future, right? If I lose connection to the call of my future self, I get lost in a blackness and a heaviness, right? In a depression, right? And a sadness. Who can find that? Just who can recognize this, okay? And if you're listening to a replay, when I say who can find it, I'm speaking to the chat box because lots of us are talking in the chat box. Who can feel that kind of that weight? And if you're listening, just, if I can, with your permission, just ask you directly, right? If you're listening to a replay or whether you're live, right? Can you find that in yourself, that heaviness, right? That uncomfortable, right, sense of malaise that we're not allowed to share with anyone because we're not supposed to have it anymore, right? But it's just always still there. And if we don't feel the call of the future, right, that is to say that the future needs something from me, that there's a memory of my future, right? That actually there's a gift that I have to give. And the way I hear the call of the future is through my unique self and my evolutionary unique self. unique self is a sensory organ that allows me to hear the call of the future. And in the future, right, I hear the need of reality for my unique being, and the need of reality for my unique gift, and the need of reality for my unique presence, and the need of reality for my unique contribution. And I've got to be able to discern, right, what that is. And it's not, by the way, there's a narcissistic separate self-expression of this. What's my creative expression? It's not that, right? So I want to just give you a formula, which may help, and then we're going to do a practice. But here's the formula. The formula is, in order to kind of feel into, right, your unique gift and your unique call that comes from the future, and we're going to actually do a practice in about 2 minutes, but there's a formula. And the formula you need to know going in is you've got to identify first, what are you really good at? Right? What are you really good at? Whatever it is, and everyone's got something they're good at. 2, what do you love doing? 3 is what's most needed. Now, in different generations, there's different emphasis to those 3. So sometimes what you love most is most important. Other times, what you're best at is most important. In this generation, actually, the 3rd is most important. What's most deeply needed? This is not an ordinary generation. And often I speak to people, sometimes even, in our close, right, community, right, who talk about unique self, but really you can hear it in the resonance. They're talking more about a separate self, ego fulfillment of some sort of, creative expression, which is beautiful. Creative expression is gorgeous, but that's not what unique self is. I want to just give you a really great example. When Israel was founded as a state in 1947-48, after the Holocaust, you had doctors and lawyers and literary writers and philosophers. And what they all did is they started farms, and they drained the swamp, and they created crops, and they built the first factories and the first structures of industry, because that was the only way that this nascent state of Holocaust survivors could actually survive. It was an incredibly poignant moment. And the unique self-expression then for a writer was to be a farmer, right? And that's why Israel was able to emerge, because everyone was responding literally to the call of the future, right, in that moment. And so at this moment in time, when we're poised between utopia and dystopia, what's the most effective altruism we can do? The most effective altruism we can do is to articulate first values and first principles. So to participate in that process in a pivotal and key role, right, is, if we can do it, if we can take a seat at the table, if we can join the revolution in some way and contribute something to it, it doesn't matter how. It can be through, it could be through funding, right? We could join, right? We could join, become a member, or we could actually join and, call me or call Krista or call Christina Amelon and make a serious contribution. It could be through what, Joyce is doing an incredible job of this artistic editing. It could be through taking on a particular project, right? And actually donating time and energy, right? But not because it's my particular creative expression, although it will be that as well, but because it's so desperately needed now. I'll just tell you a little secret. This is a little dark Goffney secret. I hate writing. I don't like to write, but I prefer oral teaching, right? If it was up to me, I would only do oral teaching. I would never write a thing. And for a series of reasons, the need of this time was I had to force myself to write. And so I forced myself. I barely wrote anything in my 20s, barely wrote anything, but in my 30s. And then I realized I must write, because it's what we need today. And I get up every morning and I write, and I don't love writing at all, right? But that's what's needed now, right? And my kind of intuitive nature and the core of my gifts are not in writing, right? I want to be with like gorgeous groups of people, talking, hugging, laughing, singing, teaching, right? Fully engaged, right? All day. And instead I get up and I sit and I write, right? Wow. Because there's 3 things. There's what you're good at, there's what you love, and there's what's needed. And those 3 come together. And if you want to do an exercise at home, right, where you are right now, we're all at home. We're all at home together, right? You can actually make 3 columns, and in one column put the things that you love, Second column, things that you're good at, and list 5 for each. And in the third column, put what's most needed. And then circle 1 through 5, 1 through 5, 1 through 5 in each of the columns. And then you'll actually get a sense of the call of the futures. That's one way to do it. That's one road in. That's one practice, right? Which is to actually make a chart with these 3 columns. And one column is, what you're great at. Whatever it is, it can be something very simple, right? What you love doing means you do it if you weren't paid to do it, right? I do it if I wasn't paid to do it. And if I am paid to do it, I do it 1,000 times more than I'm actually paid for it. That's what I love. And 3, what's totally, absolutely needed at this moment between utopia and dystopia, and how I can take my seat at the table. That's one practice, and everyone can do that individually. So I want to just end with this last practice. Let's do this together. You ready? Let's do this together. So we have a practice that we call outrageous love letters. And it's a practice that we've been doing for about a decade. And it's a practice of accessing outrageous love in the cosmos, right? And feeling not the ordinary love, but actually the quality of outrageous love, or what Peirce called, right, and we called about a decade ago, evolutionary love, right? The love that powers evolution moving through you. And writing not as your small separate self, but writing as a unique expression of the entire field, what we call unique self. And exaggerating, wildly exaggerating until you're accurate. Right? We've made ourselves so small, right? I think of that movie, the Shrinking Man. We're the shrinking man and woman. We've shrunk our identities. Remember what we said earlier? The reason human science works is because we're cosmic humans. So because we're cosmic humans, we can access not only the mathematical whole of the cosmos, we can access in the interior sciences value. We can access divinity. We can access the call of our future self. So I want to invite everyone, and we're going to put on a particular piece of music, and it's that piece of music you have ready, right, from the Cathars, right, who come from this tradition that we're talking about, this tradition of the temple and Eros, the temple of Solomon in Jerusalem, and its insides are lined with love. So we're going to get that piece of music ready. Let me know when you have it ready, beloved Christina Amelon. Just give me a ready when you have it ready. Okay. So we're going to put that piece of music on. And what we're going to do is we're going to ask everyone to do 2 things. In the first 2 minutes, write an outrageous love letter from yourself to your future self, and ask your future self to speak to you. Just say, oh my God, I need to hear you. Shad, it was part of your prayer today. I need to hear you. I need to hear your voice. I want to talk to you, right? Zohar, it was part of your prayer today, right? Write an outrageous love letter, right, from yourself to your future self, right? And ask your future self to speak to you, and write for really just like 90 seconds, not even 2 minutes, 90 seconds, but just write. And don't stop writing. Just start writing and just write. Just write, okay? Right? And ask your future self to speak to you, okay? Then in the finish that, I'll then speak and I'll say, okay, now do the second process. And in the second process, write an outrageous love letter from your future self to you. All right? Write an outrageous love letter from your future self to you. Does everyone get that? So it's 2 steps. So we're going to put on this music, this very, very beautiful music, right? Step 1 is write an outrageous love letter from yourself to your future self, saying to your future self, talk to me, find me, I need you, right? I want to speak to you. And you can just write the same word time and again. I want you, I need you, I want to speak to you, right? Talk to me, right? Just 60, 90 seconds. But you're calling to your future self. And then when you finish, we'll just say, I'm just going to say, as the music's playing, I'm just going to say, second letter, right? From your future self to you, write an outrageous love letter from your future self to you. So everybody ready? Here we go. I'm going to put the music on. And as soon as it goes on, get your pen, your paper ready. Not yet. Everyone ready? Everyone ready? Here we go. Go. Write an outrageous love letter to your future self.
Con lo buie bende
Just write. Ask your future self. I want to hear from your future self. Now, write an outrageous love letter from your future self to you. Write an outrageous love letter from your future self to you. You can put it in the chat box if you want. You're welcome to put it in the chat box. You can write it on a piece of paper or put it in the chat box. Anybody. Let's write it in the chat box so we can feel people and hear people. Let's see it. Inspire us. One more minute. Outrageous love letter from your future self to you. Oh my God. Oh my God. More seconds. Let's all come back together. Yeah. Let's bring us all back. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Outrageous love letter from my future self to me. That's a first practice. Part of my evolutionary unique self, part of my Homo amor, is always my future self. And at the very core of what we've been sharing here in Homo amor universalis, and Barbara Marx Hubbard, you're with us so deeply today. This practice and teaching that we talked about together of future self, so important. How many people were in Portland remember when Barbara and I talked about this? It was an incredibly important conversation. Like, wow, right?